Uh, Yes, good morning. Yes, in the previous, yes, in the previous class, we have started discussing the real-time operating system, and we have discussed the functional and the non-functional requirements before you choose any operating system. The functional requirements, it can be the processor support, memory requirements, real-time capabilities, kernel or interprocess communication, modular support, development languages, network support. All these things we have to check in the real-time operating system, and then we have to choose it for our embedded system. And from the non-functional perspective, any custom things we can do means your open source operating system will select and do some necessary changes which are required for our embedded system. Can we do that? And what is the cost of the operating system? Because the cost of the operating system will have an impact once again on the embedded system also, the cost of the embedded system. Next, the development and debugging tools that support whether it is there or not, whether it is easy to use, and also maintenance support means after the sales to update the patches means next version some improvement or any bug are there in order to fix all those support whether it is there in that operating system. All these things we have to check, and then you have to select any real-time operating system. Next comes this integration testing. Uh, what is this integration testing? As I said, both the hardware and software development is done, which is required for our embedded system. Now, what is the next step? We have to do in unit testing. What is unit testing? Each component, the hardware, whether it is working properly. Separately, you are going to test whether it is. You are going to check for proper functioning. Individual hardware sections we are going to check. How we are going to test? With the test cases. In the technical terms, in the software engineering terms, we say with the test cases, you are going to check each and hardware we are going to use. Then we come to the firmware. All with that, we'll write the set of test cases, and then we are going to test it whether the memory contents are correct, register details, flag updation, registers, everything with the simulators we have to test it. That is unit testing. Now, separately the hardware is working, independently the firmware is working. Now what we should do? Now we are going to integrate, combine both, place it on the target board, the hardwares and the softwares. Then we have to test it. Hardware, there will be a interfaces, there will be a connection slots. On top of that, you are going to place the hardware components. In order to load the firmware, that is a software, you require memory. Then you are going to check whether code memory is there or not. See, one thing you remember, the embedded systems are of two types. One is operating system based embedded products are there. One more non-operating system based embedded devices products are there. ಎಲ್ಲ embedded devices ಅಲ್ಲೂ operating system ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. There can be a single standalone programs that will run infinite times, or there are programs that will be controlled by the operating system. These are the two ways: operating system based and non-operating system based. Okay, and if there is a microcontroller, then inbuilt memory will be there. If you take the processor, that external memory that you have to place it. Then you have to connect that memory to the processor. Okay, is it clear? If I use the word processor, embedded processor, then code memory you have to interface it. Interface means you have to connect. Controller means inbuilt it has the code memory, then no problem, already interface will be there. Okay, if the internal memory is not enough, Off memory means external flash chips you can connect to store the data. Okay. Now, yesterday we had asked question out of circuit programming and in circuit programming. I'll explain what both out of circuit programming and in circuit programming. Then you will understand whether uh, uh, what the programs what we load, whether it is out of circuit or in circuit. Out of circuit programming is, as I said, the processor which is there on the target board that we are going to remove from the target board. Then that chip, memory, the processor chip, we are going to place it on the programming device. One more device, external device. It's a dedicated unit. Then through the cable, with the help of the programming device, we write the program into the memory chip. Okay. Once everything is done, remove that chip from the programming device, place it on the board, then start using it. This is the overall picture. If it is not clear, you see this diagram. This is the device programmer. Is it clear? Are you getting the things? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು? Are you understanding? Are you getting the things? Okay. Okay. Please be on time. Then what happens is I cannot allow admit, click on admit every time. Then my most of the time will go it for admitting the students to the class itself. That is why please be on time. Let it be between the 10:45 to 10:50. If it is in that range, I will wait for 5 minutes to join, and not more than that. Okay. Please try to join within the 5 minutes of the commencement of the class. It is from 10:45 minutes. Within 10:50, please try to join. Okay. I was saying this. This is the programming device programmer. On top of this, you can see some black mark, right? This is a chip that you are going to place. This device programmer device that you have connected to the computer through the cable. The type of cable it is, the USB cable or the COM. There is a port that you are going to connect. Now, separately you have a target board. From that target board, you have removed the microprocessor that chip you have placed it on this device programmer. Where you have done this type of, have you came across in this type of situation, placing the chip on the some board, placing the chip on the board? Have you came across this type of situation? I would done like this anywhere. Yes, in Arduino, good. Then yes, on the Arduino board, yes, then you are going to place. See, in the previous lab, means in the previous semester lab, they used to place the ICs on the trainer kit, right? It is the same way. There, the trainer kit have some slots to place the ICs, right? In that way itself, this device programmer has this slot to place the chip. Okay. Now, what is the next step? Once you connect from this computer, the program gets loaded into the chip. Then you remove it and you place it on the target port. I am going to say one by one steps. First, what we have to do is connect the programming device. This is the one programming device to the specified port of the computer. The cable can be PC port, the COM USB port, or the COM port, or the parallel port. There are so many options are there that you can use it for connect. First, connect. What is the next step? You have to switch on the programming device. This device. How it is come to know whether it is on? We will see the LED. If that LED is on, it indicates the power is supplied. After that, execute the programming device. This connectivity from here, you are going to check whether there is a proper connectivity between the PC and the programming device. Till now, there is no the chip is placed on the device programmer. You have connected the wire, power up the device to check the connectivity between these two. After that, unlock the zip socket. See this socket, what we say, this socket we call it as, that lock is called as zip socket, where we are going to place the memory chip which you want to load. This unlock means you can directly visualize what you have done in the EDE lab. It is like the same way. You are going to unlock the zip socket. Now, the next step is you place from the target board, you remove the processor and you place it on this device programmer. Device programmer adana place ಮಾಡಿ chip na, and then you lock it. The zip socket na ಇಲ್ಲಿ lock ಮಾಡಿ. Okay. Once you lock, what is the next thing? Here, there may be multiple devices will be connected. You select the device. Which device? This device from the list of devices. After that, you have to load the exa file. Means whatever you are going to write, the file format of that is .hex, hexadecimal file. That you load through this cable with the help of device programmer into this chip. A file na hexa file antanತಾರೆ, HEX. If you can do, you can see the hexa file in the lab. If you do the microcontroller lab in the means offline, if they start the offline classes, then you are going to load the hexa file into the microcontroller. That you are going to do part B programs, hardware programs. You have to load. Okay, there you will see the hexa file. Okay. Then what happens? This programmer device has the necessary hardware components to write that entire program into the chip. The program device ಗೊತ್ತು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅದರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ವೇರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಏನ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ರೈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ಚಿಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂರುತ್ತೆ. Okay. Then until the LED is on, it indicates it is busy. Once the LED is off, the writing is over. Once the writing is over, you remove the LED chip and place it on the target. Means unlock the zip socket and place it on your target board. This is the common steps. Okay. What type of chips we are going to use? This memory chips, this processor chips. The type of chips we use is dual inline package chips. They call it as dual inline package chips because this zip socket, it is designed to accommodate this only DIP chips. ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಹೆಸರು ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡುವೆಲ್ ಇನ್ಲೈನ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಹೆಸರು, DIP ಚಿಪ್ಸ್. ಯಾಕೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಜಿಪ್ ಸಾಕೆಟ್ ಆ DIP ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರನೇ ಸ್ಲಾಟಿಗೆ ಕೂರೋದು. ಇದನ್ನ ಹಂಗೆ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ ವಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಡುವೆಲ್ ಇನ್ಲೈನ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ಚಿಪ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ. If you see here, compared to the advantages, the drawbacks are more here. What can be the one drawback? Can anyone say what can be the one drawback if you load like this? ಏನೊಂದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಈ ತರ ಫರ್ಮ್ವೇರ್ ನ ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ? ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಇಂದ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಡಿವೈಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಡಿವೈಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. Can anyone say what is the disadvantage? Delay, you can, instead of delay, you can say it is a high development time. In that way, you can say high development time. In order to, it takes so much time. Connect agalwa. Shreyas, I didn't get you. Please unmute and you can say, I didn't get you. What is the problem? No, no. You cannot say some of the features won't work. No, that cannot happen. That is a different issue. Then there is a problem with the firmware itself. It is not the features. If you say some of the features won't work means, then that is a problem with the firmware. I'm talking about removing the device, loading it separately, and once again placing it on the board. Then in that situation, what is the problem? Sinchana, what can be the problem? Sai Sparsha, are you there? Sai? Very good. Good Spurti. The chip may damage. See, this is one what you have done, right? I see. If I ask you to place the notch on the top, you should place in such a way that the notch should be on the top. In the lab, what I have seen. But what you do? If I say on the top, you place it reverse on the board. Yes, the chips may damage. Then, Sai Sparsha, are you there? Idira? Sai Sparsha. Ah, that can be the problem. ಏನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ? Don't know. Shubha, Shubha ML. Yes, pins may interchange whenever you place. Then that finally it will lead to create a problem to the chip damage. ಅದೊಂದಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Shubha, Shubha, are you there? See, one more. Shubhashri, Shubhashri, 19 CS 93. Shubhashri, are you there? What can be the problem? Drawback? ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ರಪ್ಪ, ಅದೇನ್ ಚಾಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀರಾ? ಎಸ್ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಶುಭಶ್ರೀ, ಪಾರ್ವತಿ, ಐ ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ಪಾರ್ವತಿ itself. ಪಾರ್ವತಿ,
Sir,
ಇನ್ನೇನ್ ಡ್ರಾಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು?
power consumption will be there.
Okay. In both the situation, outside or inside, power consumption will be there. Hmm. See, if I want to change something, reprogram any one of the feature, in that situation, if I want to do one change, reprogram, once again I have to remove from the board, load it, once again place it on the board. Then this method is very tedious. It is not a good option for frequent insertion removal. If you do 100%, there is a damage to the chip. And also for batch, and also for the batch production, means if you want to uh, do a release, means if you want to develop in mass some 1,000 products you have to design, it is not a good option to do like this. It is not a good option for batch production also. And one more problem is uh, some technology you have to improve, something you have to change, bug fix you have to do, or some upgrade you have to do, firmware, software updation you have to do. I mean, yes, that is a maintenance problem. Finally, you say it is a maintenance problem. If you want to upgrade the firmware also, once again you remove from the board. ಇದೇ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ದು ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆಂಡ್ರಾಯ್ಡ್ 11. ಓಕೆ, 12ಗೆ ಅಪ್ಡೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನೀವು ನೋಕಿಯಾ ಕೇರ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ತೆಗೆದು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಅಪ್ಡೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೊಬೈಲಿಗೆ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು, ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, that is what the out of system programming. Okay, then we'll move to the in system programming. See, in system programming, in system programming, nowhere we are going to remove any component. The microprocessor, the microprocessor controller, that chip will be there on the board itself. From there itself we are going to load the firmware into that. In order to load, there should be an interface. How, what is the interface we are going to use is these serial protocols. There are two types of cables are there. One is the serial peripheral interface, that is one protocol, or this JTAG, joint text act group. Any type of this you can use. See, you have seen this SPI cables, I think. See, this SPI cable, serial peripheral interface. How many wires will be there in that SPI cables? 4. I think you have seen, if you have remember this SPI, serial peripheral interface bus, it has so many things: master out, slave in, master out, slave out, serial clock, and slave select. I think if you remember this, it is exactly the same. We use these buses, SPI buses, to connect between the PC and the microcontroller, because now we have to load. ಈಗ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲರ್ ಒಳಗೆ ನಾವೀಗ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಆದ್ರೆ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಇಂದ ನಾವು ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. See, this is the one in system programming. This is the one what we do in the lab. Microcontroller lab ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಇದನ್ನೇ ಮಾಡೋದು, in system programming. ಆಫ್ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಆ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಮೆಥಡ್ ಇದು ಸೀರಿಯಲ್ ಪೆರಿಫೆರಲ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಬಸ್. This is how we are going to load the program into the chip. Okay, ಏನೇನ್ ಕೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ? ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಇನ್, ಸ್ಲೇವ್ ಔಟ್, ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಇನ್, ಸ್ಲೇವ್ ಇನ್, ಸೀರಿಯಲ್, ಇದು ಸ್ಲೇವ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್, and one more is clock. And normally you will have a reset pin and the ground pin. Okay, all these things will be there. ಈಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಯಾವ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, one side of the SPI bus will be connected to the computer, another end will be connected to the microprocessor or the controller, because you have to load the program. ಈ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದ್ರ ಒಳಗಡೆ 4 ಕೇಬಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಆರ್ ಯು ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು? ನಾವು the microprocessor or the controller, it is there on the target board itself. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ. ನಾವೀಗ ಅದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್, ಫರ್ಮ್ವೇರ್, ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಎಂಬೆಡೆಡ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ಮೋಟಾರ್ ರೊಟೇಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. Like stepper motor, it has to rotate. Now, in order to rotate clockwise or anti-clockwise, there should be some program. ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಯಾವ್ದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ? ಮೈಕ್ರೋಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ, ಚಿಪ್ ಒಳಗೆ. How we are going to do is using the SPI cables. SPI cables ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರ್ತವೆ? 4 wires ಇರ್ತವೆ. One is for reset, you leave the reset and ground pin. Other than that, MISO, MISI, slave select, and one more is serial clock pin. Okay, these are the pins will be there. See, ಇದನ್ನಾರು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ನಾವು ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿದೆ SPI. What is the exact, what is this JTAG is? It is another way you can connect, but this is expensive. But what the advantage is, hardware debuggability you can do. If anything problem is in the hardware, in order to check that hardware, these cables will help you. This protocol will help you to hardware debug. That is why it is expensive, but that is not at all required. For us, it is not at all required. Now we are going to discuss in system programming with SPI. Okay, you have this many cables. Now, which is the master, which is the slave? First, you should understand that our computer, from where we are going to send the program, adu master. The microcontroller chip, where you want to store, that is called as a slave. Now, that is a target device. The target device is a slave. First, from the computer, we are going to send the data. That is why master out, PC out, slave in, target device in. What the slave can send? It can send only the acknowledgement that it has received. The speed data transfer, the computer may be faster, PC, the target device may be slow. In order to synchronize that, you have a clock pin, synchronized clock pin, that acts as a clock for the data transfer. Okay, that is going to synchronize the speed between the both the devices. That is what we are going to discuss now, how exactly it works step by step. Target chips powered the power supply. ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಚಿಪ್ಪಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪವರ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಕೊಡಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ VCC and ground pins. After that, in that cable, SPI cable, reset pin will be set to high. There is a reset pin in the SPI bus will be sent to high. What it indicates, now there is a data transfer. A reset pin ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೈ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಲೋ ಸ್ಟೇಟಿಗೆ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡೇಟಾ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. Okay, next, if the crystal is not connected across these two pins, we have to connect, apply a 3 megavolts clock and wait for at least 10 milliseconds. See, these things, it will happen internally. Okay, now we have to enable the serial programming for sending the data. ಯಾವ pin connect ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ P15, the master out, slave in. With this help of this P15, we are going to send the data. Then the code and the data array that will be sent 1 byte at a time, using the write instructions. Using the write instructions, the complete data using the SPI bus, master out, slave in, all the data will get loaded into the target device. What will happen from the opposite side? Master in, slave out. The target device using this cable, MISO, the pin number P16, it is going to send the acknowledgement. Okay, it is a confirmation that everything is done. Finally, what happens? We are going to change the reset pin to low. It indicates there is no more data transfer. After that, you turn off the power supply. This is what the normal operations it happens in the in-system programming with SPI bus, SPI protocol. If you want to do these things in the real time, if you get a chance for the offline labs, and if you do the hardware programs in the microcontroller lab, you will exactly do the same steps. You will use this SPI cables. There will be a target device, and you are going to load the program. This is what you are going to do. Okay. Do you have any doubts in this? In system programming with SPI protocol. In system programming ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? Okay. Okay. Then next we are going to discuss one more way. In application programming. In application programming is one is out of circuit. Second one is in system. Now it is in application. In application means already the firmware is there. In that, a selected portions you have to change. The selected portions of the code memory, if you want to change, then that type is called as in application programming. When you will when you will face this type of situation, see, whenever there is an uh, analog to digital conversion, assume that there is a temperature sensors are there, heat sensors are there, or any humidity sensors are there, where in the background what happens there is analog to digital conversion. There may be adjusting the values. You have to do it in the background. That is called as calibration. That updating the calibration data, that internally in the firmware you have to change it. The lookup tables which has some data that you have to change. That is everything is in the code memory. That if you want to update, that is called as this in application programming. Firmware is already there, but selected portions of the code memory you want to update. That type we are going to say it as an in application programming. Okay, this is the third way. Fourth way is directly you are going to use factory manufactured chip in your home or in the lab. You are not going to program into the chip. You are not going to load the program into the chip. When it comes from the industry itself, the program during the development stage itself, they are going to load and directly you are going to use it for the development of your embedded product. The functionality it is fixed. What is the help with this type of factory program chip is you can do mass production of the embedded products. It will help for the mass production, and also the product development time will be very less. But whenever you use the industry made products, you have to see the features, whether it is helpful for your products. Yes, it is good to use, but it is bit expensive. That cost, it will have an impact on the embedded system cost also. Using of factory program chips. The last one is the firmware loading for operating system based devices. See, till now what I said is there may be chances of operating systems are there, and also the embedded system may not require the operating system itself. Okay. The simple programs we are going to use, that will be infinite times it is going to work. The operating system control may not be required on the applications. But here the firmware are loading for operating system based devices. What is this firmware loading for OS based devices is the embedded system has one operating system. It can be a real-time operating system. Okay. If there is an operating system, there should be a piece of code called bootloader that is going to load the program into the RAM, right? That is called as bootloader program. I know you know about this bootloader program. See, this bootloader program, it loads the OS into the RAM. First it gets stored in the ROM, and for the execution it gets loaded into the RAM. And this bootloader program, it exists in the ROM, that you know. This bootloader, this program, with the help of different types of interfaces, that can be the JTAG or SPI buses, it loads the OS image into the memory. Okay. Whether if that bootloader, it has a different options are there. Whether that OS image, it can be in the ROM, flash ROM, whether that OS image, it can be loaded from the network itself, or it can be loaded through the UART. You learned about this UART whenever we discussing this one, Universal Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter. Using this, you might have see in this ways you can load the OS. That option that will be given by this bootloader. This is what this bootloader program, that is what we are saying, firmware loading for the operating system based devices. This bootloader is responsible for loading that OS. It can be from the ROM, it can be from the network. Internet in the operating system load agi hogi memory RAM ಅಲ್ಲಿ operating system ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. That will be done everything by this bootloader. This is another way of loading the firmware for the operating system based devices. Okay. Once the communication is established between the host and the target devices, the OS image will get downloaded into the flash memory of the target devices. If you use the network, the communication link established ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಫ್ಲಾಶ್ ಮೆಮೊರಿಗೆ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಎಂಬೆಡೆಡ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಅದೇ ಆ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋ ಫ್ಲಾಶ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇನಿಲ್ಲ, ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇನಿಲ್ಲ. ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಇಂದ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ರಿಮೋಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಇಂದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಆ ಎಂಬೆಡೆಡ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಒನ್ಸ್ ದ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಡನ್, hardware and software, everything you have placed, then what is the next step? What is the next step now? The board is ready now. What is the next step? The next step is we are going to power up the board. We are going to give the power supply to the board. What is our expectation? Whenever we power up the board, we expect that it is going to work as expected, as designed. But there are some situations, there may be I'm just saying it is not all the cases, there may be an explosion of the components that you have used. If you have not you have not followed the proper design methodology, if you have connected the positive terminal to the negative terminal, if you have changed the terminals on the target board, polarity if it is changed, in that case there may be an explosion happens in case of the embedded systems. That is why whenever before you turn on these devices, you have to do the proper testing. What all the testings you have to do? What can be the problems can occur? You have to check the hardware spot checks validation. You have to do it. whether the interconnects, the buses that you have connected with, you have to check whether it is operational, power supply whether it is there, clock input whether it is there, and functionality whether it is working properly, or the processor whether it is fetching the code, and this firmware whether it is executing in the expected manner, memory validation, signals, all these things you have to check. During whenever you turn on the devices, these things you have to check. Then only after the proper testing, you have to release that into the market. Okay, these things you have to check after the integration testing that will be done. Okay, see in the if you go through the textbook, the author has shared one situation in his career. He has gone through one situation where he has heard the explosion followed by burning of the capacitor on the target board. Okay, it's a very interesting incident. He has used the board, he has powered up the board. After that, he has embedded the firmware, means he has loaded the firmware. Suddenly, when there is a power supply, he has heard the explosion after the capacitor has burnt. And it is very hard for him to stop the fire after spreading through that air. Hmm? It was a true incident that the author has faced. Okay, these are the things you have to keep in mind before we have to release any product, embedded product into the market. Proper testing we have to do. Okay, with this, I'm going to stop today. In the next class, we are going to discuss about the Keel software ID, integrated development environment. Okay, if I want to show the syllabus what we discussed, I'll show it here. What we discussed today is this chapter, integration and testing of the embedded hardware and the firmware. In the next class, we'll discuss about this integrated development environment, that is Keel software. Okay, means what actually a disassembler, compiler, simulator, debugging tools. Okay, if you complete this, discuss this chapter, these 10 topics, that will be the end of the embedded system. We have discussed this chapter 12. Now we are moving to chapter 13. Okay, chapter 12 we have discussed. We are moving to chapter 13. That includes this ID. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask, or else you can send your attendance and exit.